10th of July, let's take a look at the markets. I've got gold in front of me now. Last week, as you know, and the week before, we said we'd be looking to bounce upwards from around here. So if you did that, good on you, because I said this is Mercury and Saturn line as well. So you can see Mercury and Saturn, I've got them matched up here, and they're actually on each other. They're both on top of each other, despite the fact there's about a millimeter gap here. I put that gap on purpose simply because so that I can see them both. So this could be a nice reversal spot. So if you went long last week on the dips, you should have been okay. All right. In fact, we had all of the angles covered last week. So let's just go to the 15-minute chart here. Okay. And now I put the Astro hours in, as you can see, and these were the Astro hours. Now I gave you the Astro hours in the early hours of the morning, but I couldn't do the video in the early hours of the morning. So I'm doing them now, and it's 9:41 a.m. my time. So you should get them before London opens. As you can see, we've got a level here. So if we break above this level, this should go higher, and I'm expecting it should go higher. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, this downwards motion should break out into there. Okay, but that's just me calculating with respect to financial astrology. So there's a gap also here. So this technically we need to be careful as well. So don't do stuff without your stop losses. Now on the weekly, if I come back to the weekly here, 1903, and plus we've got 43 here, 1899 and 1903, 1907, that's the zone, and 1907 and 1900, as you can see, this is still a zone to do. So the market could go up there. If it breaks above that, we should go higher, but if it doesn't, then we could start to sizzle down in the New York session, because that disruptive motion will be over when New York opens up. Okay, this zone is a bit tricky. Okay, this zone is a bit tricky, which is 11:51 to 1 o'clock. Okay, so be mindful in this gap here. But if I'm correct with this should move on. Okay, this should be like where the market stops, and it should like kind of move on at least until 6:30 New York time at least. Okay, and then if things are going to change, it should look to change there. Okay, if it breaks down, then it's going to break down till 6:30, but I don't see any breakage here at all. So the only thing that could really put a dent in our bucket, as they say, would be like in this zone here. Okay, so you've got to be careful between this 11:50 to 1 o'clock. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Now with the euro dollar as well, let's take a look at the weekly, since it's a new week. Now here, as you can see, we've got this triangle motion, and we're above this now. As you can see, the market broke above that, and this 60 is the support 0951. Okay, so the market's actually done this support here. And on the daily, as you can see, we've got this impulse wave up, but it's done the targets. So I'm like, oh, crikey. So we probably should come back at least into the high of that, which is 1.09. Okay, so the market should at least come back into 1.09. All right. Now the Astro hours, if you learned financial astrology from me, you should be on top of your game anyway. And this is 1.09 around here. Okay, so the market may be coming down into this zone. Whoops, we need to go slightly higher. Okay, should be around here. Okay, so we should come back here, and there's a gap here, so that gap should be like a fill-in. Okay, now this was an Astro hour. Also, we are at an Astro hour right here, which is 9:15, and that's that. Okay, so as you can see, it's a bit of a mishmash. Now, don't trade in the middle of nowhere, okay? Because when you start trading in the middle of nowhere, you're going to get yourself into trouble. Two things you can do here. Okay, if it comes back down, you can go long on the 1.0900 zone. If the time is right, the alternative is we could push up into the 48, which is 53, sorry, which is 1.1058, which on the weekly we don't have, but on the daily we've got somewhere close to that, which is that 64. So 61 is 1.0976 and 1.1005. So if I get into here, 1.0975 here, which is, as you can see, a resistance level, and the other one is up there. All right. So the market can, go into there and then turn around as well in the New York session. Take a look at your swing days as well, because your swing days are going to be important, as you can see. So these are probably going to go somewhere to turn around. Okay, so be mindful doing that. Take these levels, which is the high of last week, and this higher zone, this 1.1005, into consideration if you're going to trade that. If you want to go long, if it comes back into the daily, weekly, and this level, it's okay to go long, I think, to push further up. But if it goes up first, there's this level and that level, which the market will want to start thinking about reversing. So look out for swing days. On the SP 500, let's take a look at the weekly here. Now, as you can see, this is a big drop down. It's got room to come down, so I want to sell this at one point. Okay, but where is the question? As you can see, I've got a trade open here. It's crashing down. Normally, I would not go against something like that. Definitely not. But it is actually the Astro hour. So I didn't mind taking a bit of a small risk to push this back into the Asia opening session, okay, with a tight stop loss. And this is about 1 to 5 risk return ratio, so I was okay to take it on. If it goes higher, I'm going to move this take profit down towards here, because it's going to compensate more than enough for the risk that I took. More than enough, okay? But if it keeps going up until that 6 o'clock New York time, like I said, I'll keep it open until this zone, because I got 4,434 here, which is the weekly goodbye kiss there. All right, 4,434. So if we go back up there and then we can sell it off, that will be a bonus, so we can sell later to push down. Now, because I'm against the trend here, I'm like against the odds. Nobody's going to be standing in front of it unless you know financial astrology and technical analysis. That's it. Because this thing filled in the gaps here, as you can see, comes into the GAN level that I've got 37.5. Okay, it matches an Astro hour, and normally, if I wasn't using financial astrology, I would never, ever, ever stand in front of a PST breakout, and I still would not recommend it. Okay, this is just an intraday trade. It's just a small snack trade, because if the New York session is going to sell, it should go up first before they sell. Okay, and if I'm wrong, I'm just going to get stopped out with a tight stop loss, and that's fair enough too, for doing something silly against the trend. All right, that's that. So if the market, like I said, goes up, there are so many gaps here from Friday, as you can see. The market should either sell at the weekly zone, or it should go higher and go towards this 4,434 and sell it off here. And this is, like, for me, is like a good weekly spot there. And if it gets there, I'll be looking to sell it for sure, okay, if it matches Astro hours. Now let's take a look at Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. Now I've got Dow Jones here, as you can see. Let's take a look at the monthly. Now, as you can see, the monthly goodbye kiss has got room down here, and it's actually done this at 52, which is 337, sorry, 33516,594. If I come down here, it's pretty much done the 594, okay? So it's just here. So what we want to do is retest that, possibly go to the daily pivot, okay, as a retracement. Or this week, we're going to go up into the weekly to sell off again. So retesting the highs to sell off again is okay, just like with the SP 500. Okay, down here we've got a low, as you can see, 48, 33, 381. So that's the target, 33, 381. We want to go down there, okay? We just want to make sure we sell high and don't get lost in between levels. So if you know what you're doing, wait for the market to come up into your Astro hours, okay? 33,381 should be just there, okay? So this is the zone where you want to be looking to get to. All right, so that's going to be a target. So wait for the market to fill in some gaps, as you can see here. Like we should get back up into the opening at least, okay, and then sell off, okay, and start moving down. So on the daily as well, you see it's like going down. Like I said, I would normally never stand in front of that on an index. Just wait for the market to go up. That 47 is not looking too bad, 33,909 for a sell-off. 33,909 is somewhere up there. So keep this level in mind. Okay, that's on the daily. On the weekly, that's too far out. 34.17 is on the price. 34.17 is up here on the price. All right, so that's your zone there. So you got, room to go up into these levels and then sell off this week. Okay, and if you can do that, great. If you entered the trade here, let's just go back. Mind you, I've put a technical analysis set up here so I can make my life easier. As you can see, this is where the market bounced off before. So bouncing off from this level is not a bad idea, especially if it was an Astro hour. Like I said, it was an Astro hour, okay? But you want to be careful, okay? Once the market starts pushing up, just keep pushing your stop losses up as well and get stuck around here, okay? And 9:15, as you know, was the Astro hour, so that's when it started to go up, as you can see. All right, and these Astro hours, like I said, I sent you guys early in the morning, so you guys already know what to do with them. All right, now let's take a look at NASDAQ. Here we are with NASDAQ. Let's do this. Let me get rid of this. Let me just turn this into my technical analysis template, the one I just worked out on. It just saves me from having to redraw these lines all the time, where the gaps are, this and that. So it's making me a little bit lazy, but we should be okay. Let's get rid of this. Now, this is where the weekly and the daily pivot are. So this should also at least come up to this zone here. Okay. So we should at least end up somewhere around the opening. Okay, and if we get back up into the weekly and the daily, you know, we should at least get up there to see some sell reaction. So let's first take a look at the weekly on the Nasdaq and see where we're at. Now on the weekly, we're at a support level at 70, which is 14,914. So 14,914 is a target zone. It hasn't gone there yet. 14, but it's pretty damn close. Okay, 14,914 is about here. Okay, so what you can do, you can either wait for the US session to trade anything and sit tight and don't do anything crazy. You know, waiting for the US session is a smarter thing to do. We've got break of structure here, we've got liquidity here, and we've got inducement here, as you can see. So the market should kind of like go up to take out the stops, fill in the gaps. If they're going to sell off again, which they should, we should do it somewhere here or somewhere at the tops here. All right. And I just don't know why that keeps getting in there. So that's that. I'd say wait for the highs to sell. On the daily, let's see if we've got a level there. $53, which is 15,000. So you can wait for 15,000. That's going to be like a goodbye kiss. That 15,000 is pretty close right there, as you can see. Okay, so definitely, you know, cover your trade if you're getting in, or if you got in, since you guys know financial astrology, some of you. The second one on the weekly, let's see what we have. Well, that's the support on the weekly. That could take us all the way up to the goodbye kiss on the price, which is 15,123, which is where I don't mind seeing it, somewhere there. So going up into the weekly pivot and everything is not a bad idea at all. So that could really, like, you know, push the market into that zone. Okay. So not a bad zone at all. Just cover yourself if you entered the trade. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin as well, let's do this. Let's take a look at the daily. Now we're going in the sideways manner, so this should pretty much break, I'm thinking. If it goes back up on the daily to 63, which is 30,750, that's going to be a sell level, 30,750. So you can actually do that. In fact, all right, that's better. So 30,750 we've got way up there. Let's just okay, 30,750. All right, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's on your daily PST level. All right, so that's there. The support is 48, 29,828. So 29,850 is also well, it's pretty much done. 29,850 is about there. And I'm just gonna, okay, it's scale fixed. Okay, that's that. On the weekly, where are we heading on the weekly? Not a bad level to be selling. Okay, So that level to sell is going to be 64, 30,778, 30,778, which is somewhere around here. Okay, so this is not a bad target to be selling off. Obviously, the weekly pivot you got to look out for. Look what happened on Sunday, big sell-off. So that's also on the cards. All right. So if you're gonna, wait to sell from the highs, it's not a bad idea. If you want to buy, do it from the lows down here as well, like I said, and don't push your luck. All right, and that's just how it is. Okay, yeah, so don't push your luck. See how things are panning out. Because this is a good move up, okay, as you can see, breaking out on the monthly. And that 51 is 29,716. So market 29,716 as well. It's a bit down here, okay, but it could still do it. So that 29,800 and 29,720 zone here are still targets. So the market could push down before going back up again. All right, and selling levels is going to be at Astro hours, the weekly, and this zone here on that one.